Erev Shabbos, everyone there. Shabbos, obviously, this is Seforim, which has a lot of mitzvahs in it, a lot of lessons to be learned, and I don't think we're going to cover every one. And I'm just going to stay away from ones that we have to kvetch the lesson. Go into the obvious ones instead. So there was a lot to learn from the union of what do you call it, Fastoya. There's things to learn from the Bechor, from the Snua. But the eager lesson I think that we face is the Ben Seira Meira. The Ben Seira Meira is one of three Avelis that there's at least one Mandiyoma that says never happened and can't happen. And the Gemara then asks on all three of them, like, so what's the purpose of Torah writing it? I mean, the Torah is such a big Torah. So, we don't need to put it some extra mitzvahs just to keep us busy. I mean, there's enough to keep us busy without it. So why are we putting in these three mitzvahs? It's a Doishim Kabul Ska. Doish Mikabel Schar means we should go figure out what the darshan from it, or means look at it, and through that you'll learn tremendous lessons. The Doish Mikabel Schar, and I think that's the pshat. It's not that like normal that it should be Mikabel Schar. Kabul Schar, meaning simply we should go figure out why is this extra word here, this extra lesson here. I mean, could be that there's good to that too, but I think that the Ikel case is brought down to tell you that there's a tremendous lesson here. And I guess you would call it in English the classic case. I mean, you have, let's say, Gemara in Bichachum. What's a Ben Bekua? It's a Ben Bekua, something that never saw that's still in the mother's stomach, or that it never saw the outside. So they have a case of two cows back to back, and the calf crawls from one animal into the other animal. Obviously, this can't happen. There has to be dilation. Without dilation, you can't get in, you can't get out. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, it has to be what he called, so obviously not pregnant cow is not to be dilated, so therefore it's impossible for the girl into it. So what's the point? The point is, but it gives you an idea of what the case is, what we're looking at. Is this the point that he went out from one, from where it was supposed to be, or the fact that he finally came into the fresh air? That's the point that we're interested in. That's a classic case. So this too is a classic case. It may not happen. It's irrelevant. But the lesson is tremendous. What is the lesson? The lesson of the Ben Seira Meira is a guy who is upping his standard of living. That's all he's doing. He's eating a tatima basa with a chotzi lug yayin, which I assume is not a normal thing to do. Obviously, I guess would I have something like that? Let's say years ago, there used to be, you go to certain hotels, so you order the steak, depends on the size of the steak. There was a 10-ounce steak, there was a 16-ounce steak, there was a 32-ounce steak. Who's going to eat a 32-ounce steak? I mean, you got to be crazy, right? But I assumed there was a tremendously big bone there. So that would be probably great thing. But otherwise, it didn't make any sense. And they charge you appropriately for this thing. But why are you going to eat that? The idea is that, okay, there's certain times that you want to just become mshugana, like an animal. And this is the thing that the Torah tells you, that don't bring on yourself yetzer haras that don't exist. In other words, so therefore, you shouldn't try, try to become accustomed to something that you can't keep up. So let's say someone's a rich man who can't keep it up, so there's no reason for him not to eat that kind. That's what he wants. He may be crazy, and he may be doing something that's not right, meaning he's putting himself into a position of weakness, but the Maisa, there's no issa in it. But to a person who can't afford it, then he's putting himself into a situation where he's going to have to become a thief or something, because he can't afford it. He still needs a style. And this same thing was the Oshiva uses it on marijuana years ago, because there's no basic yetzer hara for marijuana. So therefore, in fact, that used to be, when I was in yeshiva, that used to be the biggest head. I don't know if anyone actually used marijuana from the guys in yeshiva, so I can't say what they did. But the talk that always used to be was it's better than cigarettes, because cigarettes are addictive, and marijuana is not addictive. So it's a hamayla, right? No. Obviously, the point of marijuana was you get a kick, and this kick is going to desire you to get a bigger kick, because after a while I get used to that kick. So though you graduate to dope, that's why the guys who start with marijuana end up as dope people. So therefore, it's the point of the kick that's like here. It's a part of a zach. Eating more is no big deal. There's no issue in eating more, except that it causes situations where you can't maintain it. And here also will come a situation where you can't maintain it. How far did this go? Now, this is Shiloh. I got this, I can't say, I think that things I tried. I made a bracha, right? There were certain things that required tastes. One of olives. Olive is not a thing that a person picks up an olive and says, "Ooh, this is delicious." No, it's not going to be that way. Guy drinks beer. You think he's going to go, ugh, the first time. He keeps drinking it. He'll get to a point that he's going to like it. Same thing goes with olives. Same thing goes with dry wine. I mean, there's 100 bottle of wine. What should I want to drink it for? I'm good enough with I don't know, there's no $5 bottle of wines anymore, so I can't ask you. But I'm still good with Malaga and Concord and the sweet wine that somehow you never get to become a habit, and you drink it to the Seder and make Kiddush on it and Avlal on it, and that's it. And you don't have a problem of ever drinking it all the time. With dry wines, after a while, people drink wine with their meals. And I think that seems to be ganz mutter to do that. And beer was also ganz mutter. So why is that? So I guess because food is still food. In other words, there are benefits to the certain types of food that you're going to eat. So even though they become habitual, and they're not, not now, but the mice of food itself is habitual, meaning that, in other words, you can't say you shouldn't eat food because you're going to want more food. That's narishkeit, because without food you're going to die. So obviously food is something that's expected for a person to want. That's not it. So there's, you obviously, to make it that it's not, goes beyond the normal want, I have to work on myself. I guess that these things would also, but something that has no value at all, that doesn't give you anything except, like you say, the kick, but it's not in need of the body. Food is in need of the body. That you shouldn't do. That's also to do. And therefore, something which is to make you, obviously it's enough to eat less meat and drink less wine, and you want bedavka in such a degree, in such an amount, that's a problem. And that's the thing that you shouldn't want to. So the shiva is, and now I think that anyone who really smokes is able. This is once upon a time, the shiva wrote, the guy who smokes, so Shem Hashem. Right? But now the new generation is not Shem Hashem. They know this poison. They know you get cancer from it. So why are they smoking? So obviously it's just that they want to be a big shot or whatever it is that they're trying to do. That don't do. That you're not supposed to do. And that's from here. That it's nissa. You don't bring yitzhar on yourself or need on yourself. And this goes to really anything. They say like vaping would be the same thing. And I'm just mentioning vaping for a second thing. I've never vaped. I have no idea what it's like, so I can't tell you. I can only tell you from people I spoke to about it who did vape. That the Yetzer Hara is so big that Shabbos falls away. The good yeshivas are machal Shabbos because they vape. Why? Because they have no self-control over the taste, however they dope it up, whatever they do to it. So that's in the even B'Tzoyra Meira. So the Yisra vaping would be B'Tzoyra Meira. Okay. The Indian is tells you that Hashavas Aveda. Hashavas Aveda is put down here as Achicha. Right? Chintas Chol Aveda Achicha. Brothers. That means a goy, I'm not mechuyev to return it. I can keep it. Now, the reason for that is not that you're honest or less honest. That's the Aveira. In the Gemara, in Parshas Nitzavim, the Torah talks about Man Sveis Roves Hatzmeya, that there are three Aveiras that the Gemara calls fits into Man Sveis Roves Hatzmeya, that the Beinishim wants to destroy you. Always will destroy you, make you vikoros, wipe out your family, mamish, terrible, terrible things. Like Shlomo HaMoreh. And one of them is a Marsa Aved Delako. That returns an Aveda to a God. Like, I was only being honest. Why is there such a thing on it? So here's something that we have to get into our minds, and it's very important, that the pshat is ownership is what the Rebbeinu Shem decrees. Okay? Normally, the Rebbeinu Shem gave me something, it's mine. Okay? To make it ois mine, I have to lose it. I mean, I have to give up paylos from it. I'll be miyayish from it, or maknit, or something away, but otherwise it's mine. Right? What happens if you lose possession? So as I remember being a kid, we were taught, finders, keepers, losers, weepers, right? So we know that possession is the type. Possession is 9/10 of the law. In other words, if in my rishus, it's mine. Not in my rishus, it's not mine. or I don't know if it's mine, right? Now, by Yid, because we have a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, personal one, so each person has a different cheshbon with the Rebbeinu. And that cheshbon is your mechuyev of an einish of a loss of this item for, let's say, a week, a month, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, forever. But there's a shiur, whatever it is, or maybe not a shiur. By a goy, the union of bailus is what you possess. If you lose it, the Benjamin took it away from you. It's not yours anymore. You can get it back again. Maybe the Benjamin wants to give it back to you again. It's fine. But until that happens, it's not yours, and therefore there's no issue. The Torah doesn't mind you giving it back to the goy. We found that you make a Kiddush Hashem by that, doing that. The case with the Yeshiva Bochum found something in a cab or something, or on the subway or something, they returned it, and Barsha, there was in all the newspapers, like the only honest people are Yeshiva Bochum, which is true. But the shaila is that the kid has to know he's making Kiddush Hashem. For Kiddush Hashem, it costs. I'm willing to pay for it. But then you're going to get a lot more schar. But if you feel that you're more honest than the Torah is, you're a shegitz. That's the Rebbe doesn't want. He doesn't want that the Torah is discriminatory. It's discriminatory against women. That's why they don't have a certain amount of mitzvahs. Discriminatory against goyim, against gaelics, against whatever they have. That's really you're wrong. That means you're saying you're better than the Torah. That is, for that you would deserve to be destroyed. But the Maisa, as long as you want to do a mitzvah, you want to be a Kiddush Hashem, it's not the hate. As long as you're paying for it. That's what you're doing. It's your money you're spending for it. And maybe you get a lot more schar because of that. But that's what you're doing. When
the guy gets it back, he thinks you're returning a lost object. But that's the issa.
Right, and he thinks, but the guy, I don't care what he thinks. He thinks, what do I think? Am I giving it back because I feel it's not mine? I'm giving it back because easy come, easy go. Whatever it is, those are wrong cheaters. God gave you a matana. If you want something in the stock market, you're not going to say, oh, it's easy come, I can give it away. It's nothing. You should get. That was my investment. That was my wedding cord. So this is, the Beishim was good to me. That's all. Mm-hmm. Yeah, then it says there are 5. In this center alone, there's going to be 5 times that the word that the Torah is going to say toyevahi on the Torah, which has nothing necessarily to do with arayis. They are obviously it's as bad as arayis, and even simple arayis. So there's something that we compare to arayis, but what is the actual issa that we're doing? So the first one that we have is the union of Lisobash. And this shaila comes up all the time. And these Yankives, they got plays. They have to have a play consists of a boy and a girl. How do we know you're a boy? So they dress up as a boy. Like put on a pair of pants. Or on a, what do you call it? A boy's pair of pants, not a girl's pair of pants. Same thing comes Purim. There are guys who dress up as girls. And the thing over there, they just looks cute. It looks what he called. And the shaila is, are we talking about that? Probably yes. There's no, I don't find anywhere it says except on Purim or in plays. There's no exclusions. You're not allowed to dress up as a girl. So what's the issue? What could be wrong? What I'm doing dressing up? When you dress up as a girl, or a boy, you can watch it and put him. That kid, he looks like a girl, right? And he himself gets to get that impression too. I mean, not only you're getting that impression, and somewhere along the line, he may decide to see what's happening on the other side of the world. And that's where you run into problems. And the thing over here. Right now, he hasn't done anything. There's nothing done here. But it is what Machshavit puts into the mind, because it's such a thing that is easy, and I look pretty good, and I think this, so let me see if I can really get away with it, and stuff like that, something like that. Like this, you're not trying to get away with it, just trying to make a difference between a man and a woman. But over here, you're going to really try to get away with it. So you need makeup, you need this, you need that, and it can be done. That's the first one. Then they didn't have Kanzipa. Okay, I don't know all the things, the book we go through, all the problems that can happen with Kanzipa. But if you remember, there was such a thing, or they used to have pictures in the papers of big people in Eretz Yisrael doing Kanzipa, right? I do not know what they did, so I assume that being big people, they knew what they were doing, right? But if the assumption that I'm making was done, then they were not making the mitzvah. They made a bracha, was a bracha v'atola, and all the other things that come about with it. And the guy was probably suing for fooling people, that you charge you for the job. In other words, a guy found a nest on his property, right? And he then put a ladder by this nest, and he charged people money as he took the picture going up to do the mitzvahs. He's going to send away the mother, right? What do you intend to do with the kid, with the eggs or the babes? You're not going to eat them because you don't even know if they're kosher. I mean, even though it's a kosher men supposedly, because most men are kosher, most birds are. But we don't eat most birds. Why don't we eat birds? Why don't we go get some robins in the backyard? Right? They look real cute. Maybe I'd like them on my table there. Probably kosher. Probably doesn't make them kosher. So we're not going to eat them until we have a chazok. Right? And we have a chazok even connected to simonim, like a goose goes connected to simonim, and we still eat it, whatever it is. There are people that won't eat a turkey at Hayim because it's an American product, and they didn't know about turkeys in Europe, so there's no Kabbalah on the turkey. So what are you going to do there? And then I remember there was the question of the guinea hen, which is in South America, which is the Shiva pasta, was a type of chicken. But Maisa, is it or not, I can't answer you. But he ate it before he passed the Shiloh. I mean, he passed the Shiloh, he's allowed to eat it. But he ate it to show you that he believes it, that it's so. Not just that, he's saying a guinea pig, whatever it is, guinea hen, is a chicken. But they don't look like regular chickens. They're a little different. And even chickens are different chickens. You have some that have feathers on the feet, some that don't have feathers on the feet, some are brown, some are black, and some are red, and some are white. So they're all different minim there. There's no such thing. Some are better for eggs, some are better for chicks. So there's different things. So even if you want to go into business, you are kind of. Then you want them. And how do you macken it to the second guy? In other words, since no one's taking the eggs or the to eat, so what'd you take them for? Right? So I didn't take them. So you didn't take, you're not doing the mitzvah. That's not the mitzvah. The mitzvah is take them and leave the mother. That's the mitzvah. So I can't answer you. I say they must have some kind of heter, whatever they're doing there. The reason why I'm saying this is because people used to ask, you go to Eretz Yisrael, you can take a picture over there where they do it, a little mitzvah, you never get a chance to do it except over there, something like that. Then you have Pidyon Chamor, are we doing the same Chamor 48 times? Or something like that, How many Chamorim do we have B'chayrim for? That we're talking about, that we have so many pictures about people. It's a farm of B'chayrim. What are we talking about? Okay. Okay, then you have the din of Makeh. He says in the Bayis Chodosh. So you make a Makeh. What's the reason of Makeh? That the knife may fall, Rashi says. That means a guy that's chayiv to fall off the roof. Chayiv Misa, the Beishim was geiser on him Misa, which is like skila because he's falling a distance. He's going on it, that he's going to fall off the roof. I have to protect it. I'm not involved in it. Or at least I didn't do anything innocently. If he's going to try and climb over my fence and fall over, that's not my problem. But it's not going to fall off accidentally from my roof. That's the main thing. You'll have the same kasha, what do you call it, roller coasters. So roller coasters are dangerous ride. It's not dangerous. I never went on one, so I can't tell you. It's not dangerous. I don't see it being exciting. That's the emphasis. If you want to think, I think having your stomach leave you for whatever it is, I don't feel is a great excitement at the screen. But okay, I never went on a roller coaster. But guys go on roller coasters. But why the ones when they have accidents is because the guy says, I dare you to open it up and stand up in the roller coaster as it goes down. That's when you shoot out. Because you don't know physics enough for that to know that you don't move against in certain places, and therefore, and then maybe it happens. That's your own fault. So the ride can be pretty safe, but it's still dangerous if you're Meshugana. Okay. So we have a case like this really in the Gemara. What's the case in the Gemara? You have a guy came to Rabbi Yeshua, and he wanted to be a guest. Rabbi Yeshua put him up on the roof, and he takes away the ladder. Meanwhile, this guy's not really a guest, he's a crook. So he goes to Rabbi Yeshua's house and he robs everything he can, puts him into a thing, and goes back in the middle of the night to try to go down because where the ladder was, and to go down that way, and Rabbi Yeshua took away the ladder. So he fell down and he broke his neck. So then Rabbi Yeshua finds him, and he said, he took away the ladder. How is he allowed to take it? If we're worried about even a guilty person you can't kill, so how are you going to do that? A guilty person, where I didn't protect him, that's true. But Pshat is where he's protected. The only thing is he wants to go and escape, and therefore he assumes the thing, that's his business, that's not mine. I didn't do that, he did it. And then I'm allowed to protect my money because of that. I don't have to worry about it. The shad is, we know the din of Maisi Shemra. The guy came and claimed his wife had no psula, meaning he married her when she was a ketana, when the psula was still being marzil. And he made the suyin when she's a gedola. I mean, not a gedola, let's say, but meaning she's past that age. And he claims le'motzil absurd. That means that she was mizana tachtov. She's mizana tachtov, so therefore she's chayv mitzvah. You have no edim, so it could be a mukaseit. So there's no thing, but it's at least I'm part of ksubah, whatever it is, I want to get rid of her. So a person wants to get rid of somebody, he's willing to do that. So it says one of the things that he has to keep her as a wife, and he can't divorce her if she wants to stay married to him. Which woman would want to stay married to such a bum? The guy is willing to, he wants even to kill her. Or if at least, if not kill her, at least embarrass her. Make it that she's like a tramp and the thing there. I mean, who would want to stay with such a person, right? So we see that there's certain motives, and maybe even the Torah is telling us that a person has to reach or it's a maila, if you want to put it that way. Where do you see it's a maila? That's the only thing, you know. It says about the fact that we don't have any criticism on the woman why she's staying with him. But here and later, where he rapes her or something like that, you can't send her away. Like, I'm willing to forgive you because I understand your circumstances. In other words, I'm looking at you and I see you're a nut. You get all mixed up and all tumult and all scared by the fact that you owe somebody money. So I can't afford to owe anybody money. I'm gonna make sure I don't have whatever it is, no matter what I do to do with it, something like that. So she becomes very understanding, or she's willing to forgive whatever it is there because she can understand. Whether she'll do it or not doesn't mean I'm understanding. Doesn't mean I would do it. I can understand that somebody can recover his thing there. Maybe that's a mile. In other words, so therefore that's why she's forgiving. Not that she's a nut. What kind of meshugana are you willing to live with such a person, such a terrible person like that? But he's really not such a terrible person. He's a nice guy, a thing like that. But under pressure, he cracks under pressure. So it's my job to make sure you don't have pressure again, whatever it is, or I'm going to teach him, or we'll work together on it, or whatever it is. You have two things here. It's interesting. You have by Naika Amarosa, that's a girl under 12, or 12 years old. 12 years old, be under 12 and a half. The Psulim are the strongest. That it says over there that we find that he was married when she was before she was able to, when the Psulim was still returning to the same case as before. But see, or you have to aid it, it doesn't a Pesach of you, so they kill her. Right? And it says to be out the Harom Yisrael. Now, the only time it says Yisrael is here and by Zokim Mamre. Otherwise, it uses Loshin about the Harom Kilbecha. So you have to know what the differences are in the thing. I think the difference is Mikilbecha would be totally about Midas of a certain type of Midah. And Yisrael is pshat that it's a general Yetzirah. Whether you always want to be right, or whether there's a Yetzirah for natural Yetzirah for the other sexes. So either one, it's a point that's not just that it says Mi Yisrael, but to show that you're not a nut of it. It's a thing that's very important. That's one. And then it says by Yeshish, and that's but it says by Yeshish, and by Naira Meros it says Biator Mikilbecha, which is also the same thing. Really, she's an Yeshish. So what's the difference between? Well, you have to repeat it twice and stuff like that. Once me saw one. So I guess that the Kilbecha is a bigger Aveira, meaning the Nagam Rosa is Skila, Eishisish is Chanek. So Skila is a more horrible death than the Chanek is. So therefore Chanek, the Torah says, it's okay, but it's understandable. You have no heter for it. There's no one equal, but it's understandable. So it's a lesser thing there. You have worse midos when you're taking a Naira Marosa. Why? Because Naira Marosa, it means that she never was married yet to the husband. You're taking a girl that was only a Meuras. She wasn't Nesuin yet. So maybe in those cases, a person has a bigger heter than meaning by goyim, there's no such thing. You're not married. There's no marriage inside. This is a marriage Yeshish by a goy. There's no Kedushin by goyim, so what do you mean there's no Yeshish? But it means that you live together as a man and wife. It means you have an apartment, stuff like that. You move in. Your clothes are in the apartment, stuff like that. You move out, then you're divorced. Then you're not together. So therefore, it's not, in most cases, they're not Yeshizisha, but the regular person that lives with a husband and wife. So Naira Marosa, you don't have by a goy, because by a goy, either you're in a suya, meaning we moved in like this, or you're not, or nothing at all. But there's no such thing as the middle. I'm saying, so you think it's a lesser Varavera. So it's not so big. And besides, it's so, will not hurt anybody. Will you ever know the difference in what they do? And there we tell you that's a skill, because he stole really from the person this experience. Now it's an experience that probably nobody will know the difference. We all get married, and I don't know if any one of us knows the difference between a psula and a bula. But by Achashverosh, he did know the difference. When he wanted a tam psula, Esther was a tam psula. And then when he wanted a tam bula, Esther was a tam bula. What does that mean? I have no idea. I'm not saying over there, but obviously it's an experience, whatever it is. This experience, it belongs only to the husband. There's no one else that is. As long as you stole that, and you didn't care about it, and stuff like that. And that itself is a big offer. We find an interesting thing. We always learn the Torah Meil Hanoi Kemaise for the woman. That's why she's Chayv Misa. Even though technically she's a Kako Elam, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't have to be an active partner, but we still kill her. Where she's an active partner, there's no question she's Chayv Misa, because she's maybe Elba Olov, Aleho. But if she's not an active partner, whatever it is, but she's there. So how do we know that? Because the Torah says the reason we killed the girl of Tavara Shaloi Tzorko, because she didn't cry. What do you mean didn't cry? She didn't do anything, right? That's the issue. The Chayv Misa just for the Anoi. Okay. Yeah. Then it tells you a second thing that if he raped her, so then he dies by himself. He killed himself. It happens basode, where she could have screamed. We don't know if she did or she didn't. We weren't there, but we know that he definitely grabbed her. So as the thing over there. So in such a case, that's considered what he calls an onus, and the onus is because onus rachmana patra. So we have to understand this difference between us and Chava. Chava also knew that if this is for a pshute, then onus rachmana patra. So why did Chava think she was chayiv me, that she should have died when the snake pushed her on the tree? She should have known. I didn't do it. So he pushed me. It's not my fault, right? So why did she? That was matter to eat from the Eitzadas. Why was that? So this again to judge our own problems. What's considered nyness? I assume that she felt that she did something that was chayiv hamisa. What? She put herself into a position by trusting to the snake, or whatever it is, and knowing the snake is a snake, whatever it is, and trusting the snake to that degree by being with him alone near the tree where he could shove her on it, that she was in a dangerous position and she didn't protect herself against that position. So that maybe that's behind me. Or other, whatever thing you could try to figure out yourself, some kind of reasoning why maybe you're chayiv. But this is in all actions that are going to happen. I believe truly that the Rebbeinu Shalom, if he's geyser an action, the only thing, the action is going to happen. The only difference is we have bechira in how the action happens. What does that mean? So in other words, it may be, maybe, I don't want to say it's an answer to the Rambam's kasha, because it's a thing, but you think about it. Whatever I'm trying is like this. Someone's going to kill, Yankel's going to kill Bill. It's going to happen. That's the decree of Menashemayim. Now it could happen by accident. It can happen on purpose. It can happen with Sרגא. It can happen with Linus. It can happen different things. So it could be I took the gun out and I shot you. That's amazing. I took out the gun to show you. I dropped it, and the gun went off and killed you. That's a complete accident, right? I could do it that I was aiming at a different part, and the guy moved and something, whatever it is. But it's always something that is a choice to me. In other words, but the action itself is going to be the same action. That doesn't make a difference. I'm not going to. I say something to think about. To think if it actually could work out to answer the question or not. Free choice, voice of free Lord. And it says, "Uyovi mamza b'kal Hashem, ad der asiri uyovi." So the der asiri seems to mean forever, right? Let's see what it says. V'amen amoyov, uyovi amoni mayovi b'kal Hashem, gam der asiri uyovi lehem ad olam, forever. Is there a difference? I know there's I'm trying to say there is. Am I right? That's a good question. Okay. You got me Shaila now because we don't have the Shaila because Seitsei was Bilbo Kol Olam Kulei. So therefore we don't know who the Lamoni is, who these guys are. But technically, we have the Shaila. And what does Lamoni, can they become Geirim? Yes, they become Geirim. And they're also to Shiksas. Right? So now we got a big problem. What do? Right? So you have to remember somebody that's not a Kahal. What's that? Either Mamzerim, or they'll marry Geirim, or they'll marry other things. That's not easy to Kahal. But as long as they're going to have this psul in them, they have to marry, they cannot marry into Klal Yisrael. Okay. Let's say nobody knows. How do things happen that nobody knows? Second World War, right? They just destroyed our town. One person escapes. They can tell you any Baba Maisa they want. They can tell you I'm a Kohen, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a that. You're not going to know the difference. And we'd have believed. So, the guy's a mamzer, he doesn't tell anybody anymore he's a mamzer. But he knows. Can he get married? So the din is, a mamzer that's mixed up already is mixed up. Suffolk mamzer he stay away from, but if mamzer gamur, if he gets mixed into Klal Yisrael that we don't know that he's a mamzer, then he's not a mamzer. He knows he's the mamzer, that doesn't make a difference. He doesn't have to tell anybody. But maybe Amayni Moyavi do have to tell. In other words, that's why it says ad oilam, forever. It doesn't say ad oilam, just says sedaris, you do it. But if there are, sometimes you can get in on the thing. Okay. Now it gives two reasons here. It says, L'yova amayni moavi b'gal Hashem, why? Al dal sh'likidmu esra b'mayim b'lechem, and asher soch alim esbim b'mor. If we take a look at the end of, not to the end, towards the end of Parshas Seforim, it says that the food was sold to me, but they sent to Sichon a letter, sell us the food, as the Esav did, and the Moyavim, that the Vilor did. So we know the Moyavim did sell food to the Jews. So why he's saying that things? That's what I claim. It's two reasons. The first reason is for Ammon, that you weren't kadmei v'ayim alechem. The second reason is Asher soch aleim is b'um b'mor, that's for Moyav. And it's two things, because they did sell the food. Now, why would they sell the food? Were they nicer people than Amonim, or they weren't nicer people than Amonim? And they have no hakoros hatoiv. But the truth is, we don't know who does have hakoros hatoiv. That's the important part. That we have a thing there. And this is something I learned, and there's in the Bali Musel, that they used a certain story. It bothers me terrible, the story. They say, I don't know why he hates me so much. I don't know what good I did to him, what favor I did to him that he should hate me so much. What does that mean? That means he doesn't want to be obligated to me, so he has to find the reason why he hates me. Because otherwise he'd be so obligated to me that he couldn't live with it. So therefore, he made up this story. That means he has no hakoros hatoiv. Right? That means he's talking about a Jew that has no hakoros hatoiv. The Japs had hakoros hatoiv according to the book, for the middle book that they put out, that they said that because Jacob Schiff lent them the money in the Russo-Japanese War, 1905, and nobody else in the world lent the money except the Jews. And they lent the money, and they won the war because of it. They want to be partners with the Jew. That's why they let the Mira guys in and everybody else in, and all the things there, because we want to save the Jews and stuff. So they have a hakos hatoiv, and we don't have a hakos hatoiv. That doesn't make any sense. If anyone has a hakos hatoiv, it's us. So therefore, no one really knows if he has a hakos hatoiv. Let's be realistic. I don't know how much I'm willing to bend over someone because I got a favor from him, something like that. So over here by Yamin Amayev also not. We're not tested. That's why. So he made it that we stole from him. What was the bracha? They're calling a moyov. That means me'av. So they made it like siga boy mochama. You don't make a war with him, but I can steal from him. I can chepe him. Right? Ammon, who called the Benami. So there went and you say, don't sigabum, don't touch him at all. Now, you know the story with the Shiva and the Benai's light. So if anybody is out to show that, mevazir himself more to show that the falseness of Christianity, that's his Moav is more than Ammon, because it's very explicit. It's from my father, stuff like that. But they can't. That means that you don't say it's from God. It's from my father, not from my God. So he says, so God decided to wanted to save them, Taki. Didn't want them to do that. So Ammon didn't care about it because they're vazir, but they're not pointing it out big enough so people can make mistakes. So therefore, that didn't do the job good enough for me. But Moav did the job good. They made that the lie to Christianity. If that's the case, so I want to save him. So I made them steal from you in order that you'll sell it to them. In other words, why won't you sell it? Why are you stealing? Because they won't sell it to me. So I'm stealing. But if the Moav were willing to sell it, then I wouldn't steal it from them, right? I go and I said, let me buy it. So he made it that we can steal from them, so they sold it to us, and therefore we have no problem. We can't steal, so there was no reason for them to sell it to us, so therefore they didn't sell it to us. They don't like us. That's the thing. The reason that Yovi and Amoini Adoimi and Mitzri. So Adoimi is simple, I think, because he's a murderer. What do you mean he's a murderer? So Rashi in the beginning, Shnei Goyim Bevitnech, by Rivka, when he went, so it's spelled Goyim. So Rashi says it means Rebbe and Antoninus. Antoninus is from Esav, and Rebbe is from Kloisor, and they're both in this. So what? They were both equally rich and equally what equal. Big deal. I mean, what does that have to do with anything? He says he wants to show you the difference, actually, between a Yid and a Goy. There's some stories about Antoninus even being Megaya, but he definitely was a Talmud of Rebbe. He came every day to learn with Rebbe, whatever it is there. But he killed 2 people every day. Tesa says they deserve to die. That's true. They deserve to die. Now, can you take a knife and slit someone's throat who deserves to die? I don't think. Self-defense, maybe. But like this, to go and kill someone? Especially with a sword. Maybe take a bullet, it's a lot easier. But you have to kvetch it into the guy and watch the guy's face look at you as the sword's going into him. I mean, that's very hard. I don't think we can do it. But he has no trouble doing it. So even though he's a Yid and he has good hashkafas and everything else, but he is still a murderer. He's still able to kill without any flinching. It doesn't make a difference. It's easy for him. That's not a good neither for a Yid. And we had Murder Incorporated and all these other things that we had that Yidden were good at. And now, whatever it is, it's true. There are things that they have, but anyway, it's not. I don't think it's any great joy in it. It's just that they don't mind it. A moyel, a sheikhet, this and that, the doctor, the surgeon, whatever it is. Okay.
Mitzri?
The Mitzri, I think, is simply the cruelty, because they did it to be mitzvah, and they made it. They made the type of work, avodas perach. They didn't do it just. We need this thing done. We need the people to do it, so go do it. That's a regular job, and you're not getting paid for it. Well, I am getting paid for it because I got a place to live. I get food. I get clothing. I mean, whatever it is, I'm getting my needs, technically, as a slave. I can't make myself a rich man that way. I think I got to take orders from somebody, but most people that are employed do the same thing. What difference it make? So people did, and sometimes you go on the highway, you'll see a guy with a sign sitting, will work for food. In other words, they're so hungry that they're willing to work for food. You gotta, you know, they want life. That's what they want. So whatever it is, you could do it. Yeah. But to make it painful, that's the davla. No, it's just like pulling the wings off the flies, you know, or something like that. You know, the kids get its kicks by pulling the wings off a fly. No, or something like that. It's how balachayim. It's not just what he torture it for, what he get it from it, and something like that. But you squish it, he bugs me, so I give him back. It's torture. Then you have, okay, just one more story then. You have Mausik, I didn't tell you about Mausik Shose. So there's two. Mausik Shose, that's the Yikir one, okay. Mausik Shose, that's also one of the Toyeva ones. What's it in? It's a funny halacha. If a guy is married, divorces his wife and she's mezana, he's allowed to marry her back. If he divorces his wife and she gets married, and the guy and then she becomes free, he can't marry her back. Like the Benshim doesn't want the fumkeit around. In other words, what he is he's going. The Rosh Shiur said it's like the Ibn Ezra. The Ibn Ezra says, how is a guy supposed to treat somebody else's wife as the wife of the king? What's that do better? The wife of the king nobody thinks about. Why? Because it's dangerous. I'm saying this, nobody thinks about the wife of the king. You get your head chopped off if you do that. But if I don't think about it. So same thing. But what happened if I can marry my wife back again? So then if you offer me enough money or enough incentive to divorce her so you could marry her, so then I'll always be thinking about your wife. And if I don't forget about it, so therefore that comes to nus. That's the issue of a Mausik Shose. Of that way it's a toyeva he commits whatever. Okay. One other one is Esnan Zaina. In other words, by the Goyim, the Catholic Church specifically has what's called indulgences. That means you chayiv certain averis and certain ancient, so you can be paid to them. You know, you go to the galach and you ask him how much, and he pay it out, and it's all there. There's no way you can buy yourself out. If the money was earned the wrong way, it stays bad. There's no way you can do it. You can't make it holy. You can't tell God, I'll give you a cut, so therefore you won't be so angry at me, you know, stuff like that. It's baloney. Yeah, good Shabbos, everybody.